feeling separation. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paskatyade Satarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Prabhudakacharya Asadhara Sadushi Shiman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribo Slava Zabrani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Gaurangi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budaya Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Tenamane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Vacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskadyade Siddharne Om Aganatanrandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Hayam Tadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shigaro Shiyuta Padakamalam Shigaram Vaishnavam Cha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Vrajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Sakans Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patidana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, observing the armies, text number 2. Sanjaya Vacha Drishvatu Pandavani Kam Yudam Duryanastata Acharyam Upasangam Ya Rajavachanam Abravit Sanjaya Vacha Drishvatu Pandavani Kam Yudam Duryanastata Acharyam Upasangamya Rajavachanam Abravit Ayavacha Drishvatu Pandavani Kam Yudam Duryanastata Acharyam Upasangamya Rajavachanam Abravit Sanjaya Vacha Drishvatu Pandavani Kam Yudam Duryanastata Acharyam Upasangamya Rajavachanam Abravit. Ladies. Sanjaya Vacha Drishvatu Pandavani Kam Yudam Duryanastata Acharyam Upasangamya Rajavachanam Abravit. Sanjaya Vacha. Sanjaya said, Drishva, after seeing, two, but, Pandava Anikam, the soldiers of the Pandavas, Yudam, arranged in a military phalanx, Duryodhana, King Duryodhana, Tada, at that time, Charyam, the teacher, Upasangamya, approaching, Raja, the king, Vachanam, words, Abravit, spoke. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Purport. Dhritarashtra is blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion, and he was sure that they would never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Since he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive, and asking about the situation on the battlefield, Sanjaya wanted therefore to encourage the despondent king, and thus assured him that his sons were not going to make any sort of compromise under the influence of the holy place. Sanjaya therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhana, after seeing the military force of the Pandavas, at once went to the commander-in-chief, Duryodhana, to inform him of the real position. Although Duryodhana is mentioned as the king, he still had to go to the commander on account of the seriousness of the situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician. But Duryodhana's diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas. Sanjaya vacha drishvatu pandavanikam vyudam Duryodhanastata acharyam upasangamya rajavachanam abravit. Sanjaya said, "O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimad Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Satarne. Well, we just read the last verse recently. Yatra Yogeshra Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanora Dara Tatra Shir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nityamatir Mama. That wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mysticism, and whether there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will simply be victory, morality, opulence, and what else? Shri is beauty. Opulence. Morality. Dhruva nitya matira mama. So, we already know who's going to win the battle. But why did Duryodhana lose? He had so many men, he had so much, he was very powerful. He was almost as powerful, he was just as powerful as Bhima. Matter of fact, Bhima couldn't defeat him. So he had to use some tricky means, unfair means to kill Duryodhana. Practically they had mystic powers, these warriors. And yet they lost. They had Bhishma, who couldn't be killed. They had Duryodhana, who was the most powerful Brahmin. They had Karna, the son of the sun god, the eldest son of Kunti, and yet they got defeated. Why? Simply because they had the wrong attitude. That's all. Because Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, it's up to Krishna who wins and who loses. Anyone who's on Krishna's side, they win and everyone else loses. Just like Jatayu, he seemed to have lost against Ravana, but actually he got all of Lord Ramachandra's mercy. He actually won. And eventually Ravana, who stole the goddess of fortune, or he thought he stole the goddess of fortune, he eventually, with all his soldiers, and there were quite a bit of them, very powerful Rakshasas, they all got defeated. Why? Because they had the wrong attitude. Especially they had the wrong attitude that they wanted to steal Krishna's property. Duryodhana, they're all thieves. As a matter of fact, everyone in the material world who's not a devotee of Krishna is a thief. As I mentioned the story before, when I was in Dallas, Texas, Prabhupada used to go on morning walks on White Rock Lake Park. And in the other side of the park, there's a big house that was owned by Howard Hughes, a mansion, the wealthiest man in the world at that time. He had billions of dollars, which was much more than we have now. $1 billion was a lot more than $1 billion now. He had 16 billion or something, like worth $160 billion now. And so the devotees went there to distribute a Bhagavad Gita to him. But the gods stopped the devotees, so they couldn't meet Howard Hughes. So the guards took the Bhagavad Gita and said, we'll give it to him. So Prabhupada asked, if you could have seen Howard Hughes, what would you have told him? So one devotee said, we would have told him that we're nice people, that we're educating children in Dallas, you should give us a donation. Another said something like, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And Prabhupada said, if I would have seen him, I would have said, my dear Howard Hughes, you're a very wealthy man. You got all this money from oil. But actually all the oil that you made all this money from belongs to Krishna. And therefore you're a thief. And at the time of death, the agents of Krishna, of God, is going to come and chastise you. So give back the stolen goods. So the devotees were quite surprised by how strongly Prabhupada was preaching. And later on, Prabhupada demonstrated that preaching when he was in Mayapur in the Long Building, walking on top of the roof with the devotees and life members. And one of the devotees introduced one of the life members, Mr. Patel, to Srila Prabhupada, who was dressed all in khadi, Nehru hat and khadi, father of Gandhi at that time. And Prabhupada said, the devotee said, this is Mr. Patel, he's a very wealthy industrialist, he owns so many factories. So Prabhupada said, oh, very nice to meet you. What kind of factories do you own? So the man said, I own glass factories. Oh, Prabhupada said, glass? Where does glass come from? So the man said it comes from sand. Oh, really? And where does the sand come from? So the man was a little pious and he said, it comes from Bhagavan. So Prabhupada looked at him and raised his eyebrow and said, oh, you're stealing from Bhagavan. So the man was quite embarrassed and he disappeared for the rest of the walk. And at the end of the walk, he came up and very enthusiastically said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, or Swamiji, he said, I just want to tell you, I give in charity. So Prabhupada's eyebrows raised up and said, oh, so you're a little thief. And everyone laughed, including the man. So everyone is a thief. So Duryodhana, for all his austerities in the past, because demons have to get their powers by doing austerity, and that makes you powerful, austerity. But for all his austerity, he was a demon. And therefore Krishna wanted to get rid of him because he was spoiling the kingdom. So he was going to lose, and actually all demons eventually lose because that's Krishna's will. But if we're going to win, we have to be on Krishna's side. We have to develop the proper attitude towards Krishna, and as much as we develop the proper attitude, then we become on the victorious side. And everyone else is vanished or vanquished. So unfortunately, practically everyone in the material world nowadays, in Kali Yuga, they don't know Krishna, but they're Bhayam Vitvidhiya Viniveshitasya Ishadavatasya Viparyo Smriti. But they're actually trying to compete with Krishna. They're imitating Krishna. They're imagining that they're actually the enjoyers and controllers in the material world. And they don't give any credit to Krishna whatsoever. They handle all of Krishna's energy as it is their energy. From the most so-called pious people, so-called people in the mode of goodness, but they're all handling Krishna's energy as if it's theirs. And therefore they're all destined to, they're doomed by the laws of material nature. Because everything they do is degrading themselves. So now they may be seemingly nice people, but unless they come in contact with Krishna, Krishna's devotees in Kali Yuga, because other religions, they don't really teach like that everything belongs to Krishna, everyone belongs to Krishna. For the most part, some of them do, and that everything should be utilized in God's service. There are other religions that have that aspect, those teachings, and therefore they're also helping people come to the platform of understanding who Krishna actually is, who God actually is. But everyone else is becoming degraded, and even those who are seemingly religious, generally speaking, they have a very limited knowledge, and therefore they wind up killing animals, getting involved in politics, so many different things. Sometimes they even take intoxication, have illicit sex. Well, they have some family values, usually some religious values, and therefore they have some tendency to want to do the right thing, but they just don't really, they're just not 100% clear what the right thing actually is. Everyone else is just blind, and because they're blind, they're andaya tandera pagiyamanas tepisha tandra urudami bara. Therefore they follow blind people. They don't know that that there's a Krishna, there's a God, whoever you want to call him, and that they have to develop an attitude of service to him. They have to do what he wants in any position in the material world, or else they're going to lose. They may seemingly be on the top for some time, but ultimately they'll become degraded, or they'll lose their position. Of course, now it's usually one demon against the other, so they both lose. Someone may be on the top for a little while, so-called on the top, but eventually he dies. In fact, most of the people that are supposedly on the top are actually just puppets for the other people who are just manipulating them, who are actually being manipulated by the laws of material nature, although they think they're the controllers, but actually they're just controlled by lust, anger, and greed, and by illusion, and they're simply the instruments for giving everyone else the reactions for their lust, anger, and greed. So everyone is a loser, just being controlled by lust, anger, and greed, destined in Kali Yuga, and after the brief period of a human being, after misusing the human form of life, entering into the lower species of life for a long time. So how can anyone think they won? If you get a gold medal, the next moment you're a mouse somewhere. Unless you get trapped by the devotees in the temple here, then you get a little prasadam. Did they ever find the mousetrap? Ananta? Good. Did he find the mice also? Good. He got some prasadam at least. But everyone else, if they enter into the lowest species, they may not get any prasadam. What a waste. They had an opportunity to revive their relation with Krishna, to live forever in complete bliss and full consciousness, and yet they just wasted it on practically nothing. Watching commercials on television, going out to the shop to buy whatever they were told to buy. Therefore, we have to take Arjuna's side. So Arjuna was confused like we are, but he turned to Krishna to get enlightenment. So that's what basically we're doing. We're also confused. But somehow or another we're turning to Krishna, and if we become more and more convinced that we should serve Krishna, then we become part of the winning team. At least we win. We win a higher consciousness. That's the prize. Higher consciousness of Krishna, developing the ability to see Krishna everywhere, and developing the proper attitude towards Krishna and everyone else. Krishna exists in a world of pure love and affection. And that's the only those who develop that are actually winning. Everyone else is losing. It doesn't matter what species of life you're in. No one can be happy without actually developing that higher state of consciousness. That is higher consciousness. Everything else is degraded consciousness, except for pure love and affection for Krishna and everyone else, everyone and everything in relationship to Him. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
When we say mixed devotional service, what does that actually means? Because if it's spiritual, then it cannot mix with...
Well, mixed devotional service could mean that you work in the kitchen and you mix up the flour. That's also a mixed devotional service.
What else?
Well, Prabhupada writes in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham sadatam yuktanam bhajantam pratipurvakam dadami buddhi-yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So pure devotional service is simply that. Constantly engage in Krishna's service with love. That's pure devotional service at every moment, even sleeping. And mixed devotional service means karma yoga, jnana yoga, stanga yoga, etc. Mixed in with devotional service. So when one knows, Prabhupada writes, when one knows that the goal is Krishna, but one is attached to the results of his work, then he's said to be acting karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he's said to be acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows that the goal is Krishna and seeks Krishna completely, purely in devotional service, he's said to be acting in buddhi-yoga or bhakti-yoga. So that's the difference. Attachment to the results, trying to figure out what this is all about, speculating on it, trying to figure it out. And when one is pure and simply loves Krishna, that's called pure devotional service. He doesn't want anything from Krishna other than an opportunity to engage and try to please Him. Is that right?
Yeah, I just don't understand then if you are doing, I don't know, if you are attached on results or on speculation or whatever, is there also some bhakti or are we actually doing karma yoga and jnana yoga then?
Well, karma yoga is part of bhakti yoga. So is jnana yoga is part of bhakti yoga. So we have to do something. So therefore we're doing devotional service. We're supposed to be doing devotional service on the Madhyama Adhikari platform. Then we can actually enter into real devotional service. Other than that, as neophyte devotees, they generally do it out of distress. They want to get free from their distress, or they want some material happiness, some material gain, or they want to understand things better, how to live better in the material world, or they're trying to get liberation, to get out of material misery by becoming free from all material conceptions. So that's neophyte. But we're supposed, if we want to do devotional service purely, because after all, even neophyte devotees are elevating themselves by doing service to Krishna as a neophyte, because they're serving Krishna, but they have some attachment to the goal. They want something back, but they get elevated by doing it. Generally speaking, they keep up with it. But pure devotional service means simply to try to do it simply to love Krishna and not try to expect anything back, to try to make friendship with the devotees, try to help the innocent, and try to avoid the atheists, or at least defeat them if we can. So that's why preaching is so important, because it fulfills those, preaching movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it fills all those qualifications. It gives us the opportunity to do pure devotional service. Because we can do something in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna, Radha and Krishna, to spread Krishna consciousness. We can do it in cooperation with the devotees, and we can try to help the innocent become Krishna conscious, and we can try and defeat atheistic propaganda by distributing real propaganda, by real knowledge. So, participating in the Sankirtan movement is probably the easiest way to doing pure devotional service. At least acting on that platform. Our consciousness may not be completely on that platform, but if we try and act on the platform, then we'll be elevated to that platform.
If we, for example, have attachments and everything, but when we do some service, we do it without motive to get something back, we do it for Krishna at that moment, but we still have, obviously, most of us, we have some...
therefore we become purified and our motivations hopefully change.
Is that a devotional service then?
Well, what else it is? It's not demoniac activity. You can't see a devotee, on Harinam thinking he's doing demoniac activity, trying to spread Krishna consciousness. Our consciousness may not be completely pure. We may glance into a store to see what's on sale. But we'll get back and start chanting Hare Krishna again. So it may not be 100% pure, but it's on the platform. It's like if you're taking a shower, even if you're dirty, at least you're on the process of getting clean. So at least you're in the process of coming to pure devotional service. Otherwise, why are we doing these activities if they're not purifying? Purify means that they bring us closer to Krishna. And the closer we come to Krishna, the more we advance towards pure devotional service. Anything else? Khwala, Grantaraj, Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.